Now let me introduce the keynote speaker for the day, Dr. Rishi Mohan Bhatnagar.
Me up at the airport. It was very embarrassing for me. To be honest, I'm as covered as anybody can be. So I kept on telling Prasanna ji that there's no need. Okay, and I was wearing my jeans and jacket. So I was thinking whether I'm in the right attire or not, that somebody's coming to see, receive me. So that's the industry. So thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure and honor. Uh, Thank you. It was really honored to be sitting with Dr. Sanjay Tyagi ji, Dr. C. Mutaimiz Chelvam ji, Dr. Uh, Sridhar ji, Prasanna, and all other members here, Raghavan, and Joy, a dear friend of mine. I won't take, it's an industry and academia interaction. And from very long time, I have been really trying to see how can we do this. And when I was heading the northern region for Tech Mahindra, from that time also, we were trying to see how academia and industry can work together and how the students whom we are hiring, it was more from our selfish interest. We used to give 3 months, 4 months, 6 months training to them whenever they used to come. And then we thought how our senior leaders can go to the nearer universities and start telling them, teaching them 2, 3, 4 months before, and they can be our interns during the first 6 months or the last two months of their session, so that they are coming trained and I don't have to spend money on training them for 6 months. So it was more for our own interest. So, I'll be talking about, the suggestions sir has given, and we'll see, what all we can do. I usually start many of my presentation with this particular slide. And please keep on asking questions and interact, and Joy must have seen this slide 1,000 times. This is the evolution of the mankind. So if you start seeing it, the first time the humankind came on this earth, approximately 11,000 years back. But when was the first revolution took place? And what is a revolution? We invented fire, we invented wheel, we invented agriculture, we invented doing many things. But what is a revolution? And when was the first revolution? The revolution is the one which first changed the productivity to the nth times. The second, it changes the society. And third, it changes the way the people do business. And that happened when the Industrial Revolution took place. And that was in 1800s. And if you see the picture, there are ladies which are coming and running in the factory. So when factories started in the Western world, that was a time when suddenly the productivity increased to the nth level. So the cloth that used to be 1 meter, 2 meter a day become multiple meters a day in a factory. Similarly, the women started going out, the economy or the business model started changing. The second revolution is what we all, more or less, I'm assuming everybody was born during that time, because there are young people here in this room. But the second revolution was the internet revolution. And we all know, again, the society changed, the business model changed, it was the nth productivity change. This is the third revolution we are living in, and that's it's called the Internet of Things, where we are again combining the hardware, connectivity, and the services. We are amalgamating two industries together, the industry of things with the industry of services. And that's a big change that is happening throughout, and that's what we are trying to do right now. So this is the third revolution. But I have two more things to tell about this slide. First, when the first revolution took place, we were under the British rule. So nobody was training the charkhawala to get skilled, to see there's something going to come in Europe and you will lose your job. So nobody was preparing us. People lost their jobs. There was a problem. Then in the second revolution, we were having our own government. The government prepared. Okay, they were trying to do, and today's IT industry, which is one of the largest industry in the world for IT services, is a thing which came out from the kind of work the internet revolution has done. From body shopping to the large outsourcing IT deals which we are doing today is the result of that second revolution. But something didn't happen at that time. We were not prepared to create the unicorns. We were not prepared or gave the infrastructure to our capable students and capable engineers to create Facebook, Google, Amazon, and many other things in India. And they had to travel to United States, Silicon Valley, or other places in the world to create those kind of unicorns. And if you see, most of them are Indians who had traveled from this country during that time. But today, the government, as Sir has clearly stated, has been providing with Startup India, many other things, Stand Up India, and many other facilities that we are preparing ourselves. And the 11 unicorns, 16 billion investment by Walmart to Flipkart. Yesterday, Ola got 1 billion from SoftBank. They are just examples of that, yes, we are moving the right track. So right now, this is the first thing which I want to say, that the government and the industry and everybody is preparing to create those unicorns which we missed in the last revolution. Last thing before I move from this slide, is another analogy of mine. It took the human mind approximately 11,000 years to come out of the first revolution. But it took only 150 years for the second, and took only 25 years for the third. That means our mind is improving. It is maturing. It is maturing much faster now than what it used to. Which means that in our own lifetime, we'll see many more revolutions. And we must be ready for it. What it means? What it means that a charkhawala needs to prepare and unskill himself and prepare himself and skill himself for the other things. And that's where the universities and the industry needs to work together now more, because the revolutions will happen more. The reskilling of everybody is required more, which was not happening earlier, which is now required. And if we won't start doing it, we will lose our jobs. And before I go to the next slide, I like to give you one example of my life. I used to work for Tech Mahindra, and I used to look after the AT&T relationship. Suddenly in one day, and I was, it is a big account for us. Suddenly I got a letter from my customer saying that they want a 25-30 man team which needs to sign an individual NDA. Individual NDA is not a thing which we used to do. The company used to sign a contract and say the NDA has been signed. Because we need these 25 people to sign an individual NDA. There has to be a segregated room, this. I talked to the legal. We had to do it. They are our big customer. Suddenly, after all the signing, we got a box which we were supposed to test. I opened that box, and that was a first iPhone I have seen. That was not launched till that time. And that was the reason in that closed room, we were not supposed to speak anything. We were not supposed to take that device out. And that was the mobile phone. It was 2006 when I got to see the first instrument. My first question was, and I'm speaking in Hindi and I'll repeat it in English, इसमें number कैसे dial करेंगे? Okay. What I asked was, how will I dial the number? Because there were no keys. And all my phones till that day were keys. This instrument, and we all can smile and laugh, but that was a very genuine question at that time. I have calculated till that date, there are 48 companies, 48 industries that are closed because of that instrument called iPhone. We do not have that films for the camera. We do not see radios. We do not see many things today. So there are 48 industries which are closed because of that instrument called iPhone. There are no more, many kind of things which are available, and all those who were born by that time must have seen that they are not there. That means this revolution will also result in some industries getting down. But this revolution will also result in some new skills to be required and some new jobs to be created. And that's where this more interaction is more required, so that people are aware. When I think about the enabling IoT and Internet of Things, and this is not an academic session, you all know this, but whenever we think about sensors and then how to connect those sensors, how to deliver, how to data, analytics and all, there are many things which we don't remember. Okay, that it's not every time 2G, 3G, or it's only a pipe that is required. Yesterday I was in a session where I was supposed to talk about how IoT will get impacted because of 5G. Okay. And where will be the 5G required? Where I can go for LoRa, where I can go for Sigfox, where I can go for Wi-Fi. And there's so many things. There's a need for people to start thinking about what kind of sensors we need to develop, what kind of sensors will have low battery requirements, what kind of sensors will require which kind of connectivity. And that's where I need support from all of you, because we are in trouble. Because in India, unless the price points are low, I won't be able to scale it. And that's where the research are required. This is a slide, again, I've shown it to hundreds of times, because this is a very good thing which is in my experience. When the day I took over as a digital head for Digital Enterprise Services business of Tech Mahindra, Mr. Gurnani organized a meeting of mine with Mr. Anand Mahindra. Okay. And I went to Anand and I said, Anand, I have been given this particular job. I am reading about machine-to-machine communication. You are our parents. If you won't allow me to experiment, who else? So it was a 10-minute slot which I got from him. And he said, there is a person named Chaitan Maini in Bangalore. He's working on E2O, which is Reva. Okay. You go and talk to him. And I got an opportunity in my life to work on it. There are 136 sensors that are put into that car. And each and every sensor has been developed by somebody. Something talks about how to adjust the air conditioner temperature and sense the temperature. Somebody is talking about the battery level. Some sensor is talking about the pressure in the wheel, so on and so forth. So combining all the data coming from these sensors to a device, and that's where I met Joy. He used to work for Vodafone, because Vodafone used to provide the connectivity for that car. Okay. All the data used to come from that GPRS device, from a Vodafone SIM to my IT platform. And then we used to do all the jadoo, how to connect, how to do, and all the reports and everything used to come from on mobile, and we could connect it. While Mahindras, as on date, even today, they are selling it as an electric car or a green car. It is a connected car. It is an IoT solution. It is giving all kind of analytics. So it was a technology amalgamation where a manufacturer of a car had to work with an IT service provider and a connectivity provider to get into that connectivity revolution, this connected car. But it's not only the technology. In 2012, it was on in India Gate, the whole Mahindra group was standing, all the politicians were standing, and we launched this car. Nobody bought it. Okay. Because the 7.5 lakh rupee car, and the Indian mindset, I'm not saying it's wrong or right, okay, was 3.5 lakh mein to Centro aa jati. Okay. It's a car that will drive only 100 kilometers and then you have to charge it again. It can put only 2 people comfortably, 3 will be tight and 4 will be very tight. Okay. Okay, everything is right. And you're still spending 7.5 lakh rupees. Oh, no. Nobody was thinking about how it's going to help you in cost saving per petrol or diesel, how it will save you, the environment. So after some time, the whole team was sitting and saying, we have created a technology marvel, but nobody's buying it. What to do? And there was a lot of pressure. So we thought, what is the maximum price in this car? There's no engine, there's a battery. And we said battery is the most expensive part in this car. And suddenly the idea came, how can we charge it as a service? Instead of selling the battery in one go, how can I charge on a monthly basis? So everybody pay petrol and everybody spends money on petrol and diesel. We said, okay, we'll charge them as a service. So battery will be given as a service. So you were having an option. So we were able to start selling the car. Okay, not to the number where Marutis or Suzukis or some, Hyundai and they are selling, but we were able to start selling the car. So first is the technology and the industry joining hands. Second was a different business model. We are not selling a car and going for an AMC. Okay, we are selling a car as a service in the battery, and we are charging them on a monthly basis. And then after 4 or 5 years, the battery will be mine and I'll praise the battery. Okay, with all that kind of model, we could sell the car. Now there's a third thing. Because I used to run the complete managed service operations, we used to keep on seeing where the cars are moving and who is driving and what is the process, and we always used to get all the kind of analytics, this driver, this particular car, the engine, not the engine, the wheel was doing this, the battery was doing this and that, okay? One day, one of my agent, it was not written in the script. And suddenly what happened, the car was not, a lady got stuck in Jaipur. In the tire, this is a small car, the tire was stuck into a pit. So the tire was moving, but not the car, okay? And she was not able to push it because, whatever, the power was not strong. So this agent was seeing that this car is sending the signal that the tire is moving, but the car is not moving. So it was not a script because we never thought. So he just picked up a phone and said, ma'am, it looks you got stuck somewhere. Can I help you? You know the amount of Facebook likes for the customer satisfaction and customer experience we got because of that intelligent agent making a phone call for an unwritten script. So there are three things which are IoT. First, the technology gets connected. And different technology in different industries. I was an IT services guy, had to go to the car manufacturers and start talking to the connectivity providers and see how things will work. We had to work on a different business models, and we had to move out of a one-time paying and then coming to your service. And third, a different kind of customer experience. This is what Internet of Things is. We should not think a sensor sensing a data and we are collecting the data. And the amount of analytics that has happened because of that is extremely high. With that experience, I got an opportunity to write a book along with Bosch, as mentioned, and I'll speak about that later. But when I start thinking about what are the three pillars for IoT, one is the information technology. We are already a leader. Telecommunication, we are already a leader. Except for China, we are far ahead. And with the 5G kind of things that are happening, we will be much, much ahead of many of the countries. And the GSM and the other technologies came late to India, but we are quite ahead in 5G. With the device sensor startup ecosystem, the Make in India and all this, when I started the IoT business in India, I was buying all my devices from China because of the quality as well as price. And price was more important for me than the quality at that time. Because in India, people doesn't want to pay any high price. And I wanted to sell and I wanted to see the market. So I had to buy things from China. Today, I'm buying from places in India. Okay, so this Make in India, I am one of the examples of things are working. Yeah. So, at a same price or a lesser price and at a same or better quality, I am buying and procuring my hardware in India. This gives me a lot of confidence that the kind of potential this particular industry has, the way we have been able to grow into the IT sector and create ourselves the leaders, this is an area which is huge. It is expected to be, revenue potential is to be very high, and my expectation is that we can expect maximum work coming to India. So we have to be leaders. Now I like to give you, people, when we think about IoT, the first thing comes a connected car, which is an example I gave you. But that's not true. We might not require, as India as a country whole, a connected car. And whenever we think about an autonomous car, everybody says he's dreaming. The idea is not dreaming. Whether the autonomous car in India will come or not, I don't know. But Mahindras have already started autonomous tractors. Because in a fixed field, the tractor can move and you can remotely manage it. On a Delhi or a Bangalore or a Chennai road, an autonomous car moving may be a dream now, maybe later. But can a farmer use an autonomous tractor as a service? The answer is yes. They have already started. Can in a fixed area we can use an autonomous e-vehicle? Answer is yes, we can use it. But when I started Aeris Communication, and before I go into this slide, I like to tell you about Aeris. We are a Silicon Valley company, and we started as a mobile virtual network operator, and I'll take 2 minutes about what is a mobile virtual network operator. In India, the concept started, it's still not growing fast, but mobile virtual network operators, we do not have license or a spectrum of our own, but we reside on the spectrum network and licenses of other operators to sell cellular services. So in United States, unlike India, in India you are allowed to have only one parent per circle. That means in Chennai circle, I can have only one partner and I can sell. But in United States, you are allowed to have multiple partners. So we have AT&T, T-Mobile and Sprint, all three of them giving us network. And our SIM has a capability which shifts to the best possible network at a given location at a given time. Okay. So what do you want? You do not want connectivity. You do not want Vodafone or Airtel. What you want is a proper connectivity which will provide you best coverage every time. So our SIM provides it. Okay. But we sell connectivity only to machines. Okay. So our customer is not a human. Our customer is a machine. So machine, and you start thinking about when a car sends an SMS, okay, it is only 5 kb. That means if it sends an SMS once an hour, for 1 day, it will be 120 kb. For a 1 month, you can multiply it by 30. Okay? That means the 1 GB plan, 2 GB plan, which we use for our internet and movies and car doesn't require that. And when a person buys a SIM for a car, that's not an individual. That's a Honda, Hyundai, Fiat, these kind of customers. So they buy for 100,000 SIMs because they will release 100,000 cars in one go. That means when you bought a SIM, the customer, the person said it will take 24 hours for you to take everything. That means there's somebody in the background which had to provision your SIM. If you have to do 100,000 SIM provisioning, it is a job. So we had to create a bulk provisioning, different kind of rating billing plans for machines. So there is a different need for a different stack. Okay. Then we had to create a connectivity management platform, device management platform, and from a mobile virtual network operator providing connectivity only to machines, we became an IoT shop. We started selling solutions. We are a SoftBank joint venture in Japan, and I look after the whole region here from Africa, Middle East, India, Southeast Asia, and Asia Pacific region. Okay. We have 12.5 million devices connected on our network. We get 2.25 billion messages every day, and we have 60 plus IPs of our own for machine-to-machine communication. That's what our company. When I started this company in 2016 in India, thinking what will it do, I was thinking a company which is not a brand. IoT is a very different kind of business. India is maturing to adapt it. The cost prices are too low. How will I brand myself? And that day I read that Art of Living with Sri Ravi Shankarji has been able to revive a river in Latur. There used to be an 18.5 kilometer river that used to flow in Latur. Out of that, 4.5 kilometer river has already been revived. Then I said, yeah, this is a very good thing that these guys have been able to do. Let me get into more detail. In detail, I found that there were professors from IIT Madras and professors from IISc Bangalore who were working as volunteers with Art of Living, trying to see how the path of the river was. What is required to do to get the river revived? Along with the social people. You know, every villager was supposed to come and collect the sand and take it away. Many things had happened. But there were instruments for which the data used to be collected, that how far is the rock, where is the water. And the scientists used to come from Chennai and Bangalore to come and see it. We said, we will put a connect device on it. We will collect all the data, take it to the cloud, and we'll show you where you are. Okay. As on date, 5 of these machines have already been connected with the device. It was not easy. Okay. It's not easy. But we did it. Now the data is coming on the cloud, and the scientists from IIT Madras and IISc Bangalore are able to see it from remote locations. They won't have to travel every time to Latur. It's all Guruji's, everything is his. But from our small contribution, Art of Living has been able to sign a similar contract to revive rivers with 3 more states in India. Because the same people now will be able to do much more. This is the power of IoT. And this is much, much more than a connected car. I have this again and a similar kind of example where we have used the technology to get the water resources and water rejuvenated with one of the, with collaboration with a German company, and we are doing it in India. I'm not getting into details of this because I want to spend time in this. And this and the last one, 2 more slides. And the idea is to give you ideas that what we can do. I came across a company called Innovent, a startup. And what they were doing was, this is an e-rickshaw on the right-hand side. And this is a project impact which we were doing along with them. This e-rickshaw, we all know 100 kilometers it can run in a one charge. It will go from, say, a city to 25 kilometer away villages, collect all the farm products, fruits, vegetables from these farmers, and come back. In the afternoon, it will run as a transportation device. Evening, it will collapse like a thela. Okay? And the person will sell all the vegetables in the market, and the money will be collected and given back to the farmer in the morning. The farmers in the morning can say, bring me this, bring me this, bring me this, and they will collect and take them back to the villages. So it will act as an Amazon of the villages. So that's a pilot they started. We said, okay, we have a vehicle telematics device. We can put into this, and that will tell you where this person is. Okay. And then it can also tell you the battery level, so how much more kilometers it can run. So these 2 things we did. And then they were able to start it, and they were able to see where the driver is, how much is the battery charged, and how much more kilometers it can run. Then we thought, what can we do more? We added a BP instrument. We added an ECG instrument. We added some basic body parameter devices, sugar and all. And we trained the driver. That is how he can do it. So with the devices, all of these things a farmer can do or family can do it in the village, near their house, on the road, and all the data comes to the cloud, and the doctor will say, no need for you to come. Otherwise, these farmers or these village people will have to come for their test done, then come to collect the test, then come to show it to the doctor to say where it is. So they were able to do it on their own. It's not free, but it's only say 50 rupees, which is charged, which is affordable to them. They are also happy. The driver is also making money. The third thing which we thought was that can we do a soil testing sensors? Then this particular vehicle became a soil testing vehicle. So it has a small, this much size antenna. It can be put into this farm. It will give you what is the quality of soil, what are the kind of nutrients that are required, and that can guide. Then we use the water sensor. And now we are also using all the kind of policies the government of India or the state government has can be put into a screen. While you're collecting, there'll be some crop insurance, this crop, this new seed, and all those. It has started doing revolution. And IoT is creating jobs and serving the unserved at a scale which India needs. And these small, small initiatives are the ones which are required. Whenever I think about this vehicle, I get so many ideas of what all can we do with this vehicle. And there's no more a transportation device for me. It is much, much more. It is creating jobs, it is serving people, and it is helping everybody. The next phase of this particular project is a drone. We are combining it with a drone. Drone will go to the farms, collect the pictures. If there is any insects or pesticides or insecticides required, the data will be shipped to the research center, and they will be able to guide them to do it. It's a very exciting one. So there are so many ideas. So what I'm trying to tell, the revolution has arrived. We are having a technology. We are able to do many things. It's more of how will you mature and use some idea to sense the challenges of India. And there are enormous of them. Last year, I just read when I was hearing you were in Delhi and Chandigarh. We were sitting with the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, and they were trying to see where to put the mosquito, medicine, okay, so that the dengue and the chikungunya season is coming, so they are less. So suddenly I think the Deputy Commissioner Health or somebody from that department, he said, क्या आप बता सकते हो मच्छर ज़्यादा कहाँ हैं? Well, he was not joking, okay. It was his real problem. It was his real problem that in such a big Delhi, can I tell him where exactly all the mosquitoes are and where the concentration of the mosquitoes are high? I said, sir, let me try. And we found some students in the university working on the pest sensors. And they were able to say where the pests are, and we requested to them, can you make it mosquito? And they said, yes, sir, we will be able to do it. And within 7 days, they could give me a sensor, which we were able to install and say where the concentration of mosquitoes are high. And the commissioner was very happy that we were able to solve his real-day problem. And that's what the technology is, and that's how, I get so passionate about it. This is my last slide. Okay. 3 weeks back, I launched Tractor as a Service. Okay. Because this device will be able to, there are people in India, farmers in India, which have less than 5 hectares of land. And majority, 60 to 70% of the farmers in India have lands which is less than 5 hectares. They can't afford to buy a tractor. Okay. Can they lease it? The answer is yes. If you lease it, how will you know that how much did they plow? How will the billing happen? How will you say that yes, this person really used it? And that's what the technology we used. We have a device which will be able to calculate for how long the tractor was used and how much was the land, cultivated because of it, and it will be able to improve. We did this particular experiment in Nigeria. There are 1,000 of these tractors already there in Nigeria, which is using our technology. And we are now the 75% of all commercial tractor usage in Nigeria is through Aeris technology. Okay. We are now launching it in India and of Bangladesh. Okay. And we are very hopeful. So whether it's agriculture, whether it's healthcare, whether it's industry, whether it's automotive, there's not in a single industry that will not get impacted. So it is a revolution we all have to work in, and it's a challenge for all of us. But when it comes, there's a wide range of challenges, there are a wide range of problems which we need to first focus on. The cost sensitivity, standard, interoperability, security and data privacy. These are the things which we all are working on, trying to see what we are doing. Honestly, I was in a meeting with the Ministry of MIT, and there was thought of policy on IoT, and we said, abhi na dijiye. Because let us experiment. We are not mature enough to have a policy. And sometimes by having a standard or by having a policy, you are trying to restrict the experimenting techniques or the innovative minds. So, they agreed. And this time, I'm very happy, in front of Dr. Sanjay Tyagi ji, that government is listening. And the amount of time now I am getting called by the senior officials to talk about what is happening is much higher than ever before. I can keep on talking about this, but with the lack of enough time, I like to just end. And I want to I want to tell you a few things before I end, which is more on the IoT perspective. We are Aeris Communication. I am an author of a book. The SRM University's Vice Chancellor, Sandeep Sancheti ji, came to our office, and we have signed a memorandum of understanding to start a COE, IoT COE with SRM University. Okay. The first step of that was to, SRM University to send some of their faculty members to our office for a week so that they can be trained. I am not sure why it has not happened. Our fault. Okay. But I'll revive it again to see how maybe 7 or 8 of your faculty members can come to our office. Our platform is on cloud. We can train everybody so that there is no need for reinvention of wheel. The idea is, one, from the academic purpose, students to start learning on how machine-to-machine communication happens. The second, the startups or the people with the entrepreneurial mind can start thinking about a solution or development which can be taken to a business. In business case, we are more than happy to help the students to take it to a business level in a revenue sharing kind of model. So I'll become an entrepreneur and a businessman at that time. And we'll be negotiating to see what can be the revenue sharing model and what we can do. So I was very happy, when Ms. Sandeep ji said that the industry people are, I have written a book, and he came to thank me that I have written a book. To be honest, I was not sure why is he thanking me. He said, you did a very good job, Rishi. I really came here to thank you that you have written a book. I said, so what great I did about it. I got an opportunity to work on a book, I wrote a book. He said, many times industry people do many things, but they never put it in a blog or a book so that the academicians can read it and learn from it. So he said, you have done a good job by doing it. And I was really very thankful to him to come over to our office to tell me this. So training of faculty, then the skill development, and we take approximately 20 to 25 students as interns. Dr. Saab is not here, so please let him know. And I'll be more than happy to take students from SRM University or any other universities for our internship. And also from those interns, we will give job. Second, on the IET India IoT panel, we have a skill development working group under Mr. Vijay Kumarji. He's the working group chair. And there are a number of universities who are part of that working group. The academia and industry together is a working group which we already created from last 2-3 years. And that discussions keep on happening. On 9th October 2018, as IET, we are launching the IoT course for students. Okay. And that course, all the content and everything can be taken by the universities and the students can take it. Because this is a course which has been created by the industry leaders, reviewed and approved. It will be a good one for, assuming it will be good one for everybody. So, this course is there. Second, the mentorship. Sir mentioned about mentorship. Raghavan's slide was showing 40. We are 99 now, okay, on the 12 groups. And we'll be announcing the 100th in the Congress that we have achieved the century. So the working groups and the panel is working well. And many of the panel members will be more than happy to act as mentors for the startups or students who are trying to work. And as a guest lecturers, guest faculty, I'm sure many of us will be happy to do it. Sometimes for me, coming from Delhi to Chennai might be difficult. But can I be your Sonipat or a Meerut center's faculty? It won't be very difficult for me. Once a month, I think I can go. So, we all, 100 of my friends working in the working group and in my organization, I'm sure we'll be in a position to support the academia to see how can we work together to find solution for the revolution coming. And moving from knowledge-based to the skill-based economy is something which I really appreciate about it. The IET India IoT panel has already started working on the skill development. So we have healthcare, we have Ganga origination, we have manufacturing, we have utilities, we have smart cities, telecom, all working groups. We are working on social sector, we are working on cyber security and standard and guidelines. So there are 12 working groups. So please, if anybody likes to join the working group, there is no fee. It's free. Please come and be our volunteer. We can work together. It will be a learning exercise for many, and it will be a knowledge sharing exercise for many. On the Congress on 9th and 10th, I like to invite everybody here to please come and see. It's going to be a good show. We are getting all the industry, academia, bureaucrats, some of the ministers from Government of India and Government of Karnataka are coming. So it will be a good show for learning everybody, and hopefully, as Raghavan said, 25% growth in year on year. That's the kind of expectation. We are releasing around 11 white papers during the Congress, and it will be good learning exercise for all of you. Thank you very much. I have taken more time. Thank you.